5:30. Do we have any public comments tonight? Okay, if we have no public comments, I'll call this meeting to order. And we are going to start the meeting with an invocation from Lucy Telez.
Lucy is the flag.
No, there was a, yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay, which microphone do y'all want?
One of these, you want to get one of these here?
Take a seat. Just use this and just, here you go.
Thank you.
Dear God, or whatever name you go by, I pray for the school board to have courage, open minds, and full hearts as they make decisions that will have an impact from the district level to our classrooms. I also pray for the teachers to have strength, perseverance, and to know that we are grateful for all the hours spent in the classroom so we can have a better place to learn. Amen.
Amen.
Man, good
Thank
job.
you, Lucy.
Good job, Lucy. That was an excellent prayer.
And you have your family here with you? Thank you all.
Thank you.
And now we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance by Capriol, McGuffey, and Everett McGuffey. And I know I told you I wouldn't mess it up,
That's
but
okay.
I did.
Everett and Capriel McAuliffe. Okay, you ready? You ready? Should you have your heart? Okay, nice and loud. Here, take off the mask. Nice and loud. Start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Way to go!
Thank you so much. Great job. Rhonda, can we have the roll call, please? Here.
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 Present.
Here. Here.
Okay, and I skipped over the mission and vision statement. JT, would you please read that for us?
Sure. Vision statement, world-class schools for world-class students. And the mission statement, the North Little Rock School District and the community will provide for achievement, accountability, acceptance, and the necessary assets in the pursuit of each student's educational success.
Thank you. Okay, we're on to recognition, people, events, and programs.
Madam President, members of our board, I am proud as we've just started this tradition of our student presentations. They're about 5 minutes, so I do want to welcome our sixth grade East Farm for their overview of our program. And I'm not sure that I see anyone.
Where's KJ?
And Mr. Clark. Okay. Can you just, thank you, Mr. Hatch, for just checking to see if they're outside.
A lot of traffic issues, so they may be running late.
Oh, there's Mr. Clark. Right on cue, Mr. Clark. Or they're stuck in traffic. I got you. Okay. So, members, would you just like to proceed? And if we have time, we can work that back in. Yep. Next, we have 5.2 with the CPR kit presentation to the North Little Rock High School and COE. And I'll ask Ms. Heather Rhodes Newbern to lead us in that recognition.
Good evening. Tonight, I'd like to recognize the American Heart Association. They are one of our active members of the District Wellness Committee. They invest not only in our kids, but also in our staff. They put the blood pressure kits that we have in our staff lounges across the district, as well as many other things. But on tonight, they have a special presentation, and I'd like Ms. Becky Swindle, if you come on up, along with Arvis Bank.
I'm Becky Swindell with the American Heart Association, and in 2013, the Arkansas legislature passed a bill that requires high school seniors be trained in CPR as part of their graduation requirement. But they didn't put any provisions in place as to how districts were supposed to fund that portion of the education. So the American Heart Association reaches out to our partners in the community to help secure funding for CPR kits in schools. And I'm thrilled to let you know that Arvest Bank has chosen the North Little Rock School District as the recipient of their CPR kit in school this year. Just to give you an idea on the importance of bystander CPR, the majority of cardiovascular events happen outside the hospital setting. As a matter of fact, 88% of cardiovascular events happen in public or at home. And if you receive bystander CPR when you have a cardiovascular event, you're 2 to 3 times more likely to survive that event. So we're thrilled that Arvest Bank has joined the American Heart Association in our mission to ensure that more Arkansans are trained in this life-saving skill. And I'd like to introduce Asa Cottrell with Arvest Bank.
Thank you very much. Guys, so you heard Becky say 2 to 3 times if they can be trained and actually know how to give CPR. Long story short, we actually had an associate, Alan Wagner, who encouraged us to do this. And so you may or may not know this, but our culture is really all about caring about our associates, caring about customers, and caring about our communities. It's very natural for our associates to raise their hand and say, hey, there's something we should do in the community. This is where we should go invest. This is what will have an impact long term. And it was really cool that Alan raised his hand and said, hey, this is something you guys should do. And then obviously Becky came together with us and we were able to do it. So we're proud to be able to donate this. We hope it has a lasting impact all across the district and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Dr. Paluski, will you come down for this picture real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you didn't say anything about pictures.
Get the bag.
You point, I'll go.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. We also have 2 special recognitions. I'll ask Mr. Barnes to the podium to recognize, and then we'll move on to our 5.4, our Parent North Star.
Good evening. Last month, Dr. Paluski held the Fall Superintendent's Town Hall Forum, which featured 2 outstanding community partners, Chief Patrick Tessing of the North Little Rock Police Department and Ms. Katie Walker, licensed clinical social worker and registered play therapist of Indigo Counseling. The 3 of them discussed youth behavior in our schools and in our community. Dr. Paluski discussed the challenges we're seeing as it relates to student behavior in the schools. Chief Tessing discussed the challenges that he and members of the force are seeing in our communities and neighborhoods. And Ms. Walker showed how the behaviors are directly impacted by COVID-19. With all 3 individuals in this virtual forum, our stakeholders had the opportunity to ask questions, dive deeper into the issues, and then walk away with solutions to help our students. It also showed the importance of our adult youth mentoring program, which this week has begun in some of our schools. Thank you, Chief Tessing and Ms. Walker, for your efforts, and we want to please to come forward at this time. We have something to present to you. Superintendent Citation. It says this honor is presented to, in your name, for your invaluable service to the students and staff of the North Little Rock School District. We appreciate your commitment to making our district the best that it can be. Signed November 18th, 2021, Dr. Gregory J. Paluski, Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you both for your commitment.
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Get the smiles with your eyes.
And I am not Crystal Barker, as you know, but I will yeah, I'm not Crystal.
Oh, my God.
But I'm standing on, in her place today to present the Parent North Star. So on her word, these are her words. Happy Parent Engagement Month. Our November recipient is no stranger to our beloved North Little Rock School District. Our recipient is a proud graduate of North Little Rock High School, class of 1991. Our recipient is the mother of 2 students who attend Crestwood Elementary School. Our recipient's parent engagement endures that the students are focused and doing well socially and academically. Her interactions via emails and in person assist their teachers in helping them to achieve success. Our recipient serves as our district PTA president. Immediately following her installation, she hit the ground running, asking questions, reading required documents, and assisting individual PTA units with encouragement, guidance, and support. Our recipient does all of this while maintaining her own lesson plans as a professor for students studying to become respiratory therapists. Dr. Paluski, school board members, staff, and North Little Rock community help me recognize our November Parent North Star, Miss Lakita Pounds.
Congratulations. Absolutely.
Real star.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you for your service. Have a great holiday.
Look at
Congratulations.
Good job.
I will ask Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, have they arrived? No, sir, not yet. Okay. Like, we'll just, is it okay if we'll just continue to proceed?
Well, I say we proceed, and when they get here, we'll give them an opportunity to present.
Okay.
Very good.
So, executive closed session per North Little Rock School District Policy 1.14, stating that private or closed discussions by the board may occur as part of a regular or special board meeting. Executive sessions may be held only for the purpose of considering employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee, or discuss matters of pupil punishment if requested by the parent or legal guardian. No resolution, agreement, or motion considered in the executive session shall be legally binding unless the board reconvenes in public session and presents the item for a vote of the membership. Further, Arkansas Code Title 25, Chapter 19, Section 106, 2C1 states that specific purpose of the executive session shall be announced in public before going into executive session. So I'm asking if everyone will join me in executive session to discuss hiring personnel.
pleasure to introduce our farm team and our East Farm facilitator, Ms. KJ Kite.
You know, when they hand me a microphone, what happens? I just break out a song and dance, so y'all better get ready. No, just kidding. I'm so proud to get to present these kiddos to you. Like I said, we've got 2 more running from a parking lot at the high school, but then they'll make it at some point. But these kids work really, really hard. This is part of our farm team. So many of them could not be here tonight because of previous, commitments that they have made, and I respect that when they have other things to do. But these kids they come up, the farm team comes up, they sign up for a feeding slot, they come up on weekends, every holiday, nights, evenings when we're out of school, and they take care of all the animals and close the farm down, make sure it's secured at night. So I'm really, really proud of them. Last year alone, they put in over 14,000 minutes. No, 140,000. Yeah, 140,000 minutes. So that's how we keep a running tally of every year, and that way we'll give them a certificate, and they can keep up with it so that they might be able to fill out their college papers or applications for scholarships. I just love doing this because it's so it's very innovative to me, even though we step back in time, and some people think to have chickens means you're poor. That's not correct. Some very, very royal emperors, had many chickens. That's where you get these bantam chickens from. But we've got a cow and a pig that are coming in. No, just kidding. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's been a heck of a day, and I haven't had all my mess. No, I'm just kidding. But we are. However, one of the kids' projects, ongoing project right now is they're getting their pig area ready, and we will be getting 2 pigs. I'm proud to tell you that thus far this year, they have harvested, even with COVID, they keep going up in their totals every year, and they have harvested over 1,600 pounds of fresh fruit and produce for our homeless students and our families in need. And that 100% goes to, way to go, guys. It's very, very important to me because these kids are learning are you okay? Take a breath. These kids are learning the skill, and what an honor it is to be able to do something where they can give back to their community. And they're learning it very, very early. I don't know of another group in North Little Rock, in Pulaski County, in the state. Wait a minute. I've told we're the only ones in the nation who actually do what we do. So kudos to you guys. I mean, it's a big deal. I've tried to tell these kids what a really big deal it is. This farm is part of our East Initiative program. It came about from 2 kids who were 9th graders. Back then I facilitated the high school East, and it came about, we had 2 9th grade kids who didn't know what to do, and I talked to them about what they really liked to do, and all of a sudden we got permission from Ms. Tackett to plant 4 tomato plants, and it just kind of exploded. And one grant led to another, and the kids got real interested, and here we are. And so the kids, there'll be some pictures come up, and the kids just want to talk just for a few minutes. I know we just have a few minutes, and I apologize for the mix-up on time. And they ran off and left me with no keys, so I ran all the way here. Can y'all believe that? But there's several kids that want to talk to you, and I don't know if you want them to tell you their name and the name of the animal or how you guys want to do it. We'll do it any way you want. So
whatever way they feel comfortable with.
Okay, and then they also are prepared to answer any question you might have. Okay, after they speak. Anybody who wants first? Oh, here you go, Harvey.
What's up?
There you go.
That's you first.
Hey guys, when we talk, put your mask down. I want them to be able to hear you, please.
maybe if they could come forward, Mr. Clark, and kind of speak to the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we taking them.
Come around.
Oh,
They're not gonna fly.
I know, I'm gonna stay there, I'm gonna be your protection.
Thank you, I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah, no
it.
problem.
I'm not quite.
Here, open the door. I don't care about that. We brought a broom and a dustpan, but maybe after we leave, I'll come back with the shelf back, I don't know what to say.
Oh.
Put that on the floor, okay, so we can see.
Oh, that's a chicken.
That's a chicken.
Miss Kite, since they're out on vacation for a week,
They don't know
who
that
take
it's
care of them?
KJ, or they don't know that.
They,
What'd you say, Miss Weaver?
who takes care of them?
Your kids.
They take them home?
No, ma'am.
They go to the school, they feed them.
The kids, their parents have committed for them to go to the school, they take them to the school, or James walks. You know, Lori Harms is his mom, he walks and he feeds them, or she will take, you know, whatever's good. You know, he's got two little sisters too, so he's got his time, their time is spent.
Let's hear from our students.
You see that chicken?
Okay, Henry, you're right.
You ready?
Oh, not that one.
Angela's gonna run.
Oh, she's the calmest, sweetest rabbit. Except for this one hanging out. What? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Henry. It's okay, it's okay.
Mr. Clark, could we hear from our students?
Yes, absolutely.
Henry. That's nothing. Tell what you love about the farm.
So we have a middle school farm, as you know, and all our proceeds from it, all the produce go to all the homeless students in our community. And all of us feel we have, how do I word that? We feel that it's very important to give our homeless students what they need. Right here, we have Miss Tackett, Miss Kite, and Mr. Clark. This is when we first got our greenhouse. This is very vital to our farm because in the winter months, we put our other plants that we have in that so that we can keep them alive, because if we kept them outside, they'd freeze. And with that, we can keep plants growing, we can have seeds, we can help plants germinate and other things.
Very good.
Very good.
This is the inside of it. This is it during the summer months, and it really helps out.
Okay.
He sound like she is gonna jump off of there or something.
Okay,
Something
we don't
right.
have these, or they'd be.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
she.
that's against the law, you know.
Go ahead.
Sound like she's gonna jump off.
So why don't y'all go down the row and tell us your name, and if you've got an animal, what kind of chicken that is, or if you know, or Miss Kite can help if you don't.
Okay, yeah.
And if you have a name for it,
And what's their names?
and what's their name?
Yeah.
This is a Silky. Her name is Pearl.
Awesome.
She's really nice.
Hold her up, please.
Bring her out here.
Oh, come out, yeah, step out. Here. Wow. You want me to hold
Look at her feet.
Yeah, I mean, look at her dirty feet.
Get your rabbit on.
Yeah, tell. And what's your favorite animal on the farm? You can tell.
I like the chickens because they help a lot with our families in need.
Okay, Harper, yeah, go down. Yeah, Harper, yeah, tell.
I had B. I've had her since she's about 9 months old, maybe, and I donated her to the farm, I guess. She's a lop-eared rabbit. As you can tell by her ears, they're very long and everything. She's probably one of the sweetest rabbits we have up there. One of the sweetest animals we got. I guess my favorite animal would probably be B. Her name's B. Yes.
B.
So she's probably my favorite out of all of them that we have up there.
See, give him my phone, be quiet. Here, you want me to hold it, or
Yes,
you got
please.
it?
My name is James Harms. I'm an 8th grader here at the middle school, and this is Milk. She's a Purdue, or however you say it, Brahma. Sorry, and she's probably one of my favorites at the farm.
Very cool.
Yeah, her name was Milk, in case you missed that. Milk, like, and cookies, yeah. So, here you go, Sam.
Hello, my name is Samantha Sanchez, and I have Marilyn. She is a mottled speckled deuncle.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wow. That is beautiful. Wow.
And she's the one that talks to us. She'll say hi to you in the morning. She'll step up. I say, yeah, buddy, hi, buddy. And she'll say, hi.
Wow.
Hi.
Oh, I heard it.
Say hi.
Hi, my name is Ava, and I'm a 6th grader at the Norfolk Middle School, and I have Baby here. She's an indoor rabbit.
And what's her name?
Baby.
Baby.
Okay.
Thank
She's
you.
not. She's an adult.
Okay.
That's her name. We inherited her, so.
All right.
Cool.
And I think that she's one of my favorite rabbits at the farm.
Very cool.
My name is Henry Keller, and I'm an 8th grader at North Little Rock Middle School. This is a rabbit. His name's Roger, and he is one of our rabbits that we have up at the farm. He's an outdoor rabbit, and I really like him. He's really nice.
Awesome.
My name is Scout Nesserod, and
That's one of those chickens.
I have Lottie. She's one of our Bantaminium chickens up at the farm, and she's one of my favorite chickens.
My name is Priska, and this is Rolly. He is an indoor rabbit, and
Beautiful.
I'm glad you made it.
okay, but what's its breed?
He is a mini Rex. The kids call him
A mini Rex.
the Velveteen rabbit because he feels he's so soft.
He looks it.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Estrada. I'm one of the students in the North Little Rock Middle School. I'm in 6th grade, and I'm going to be here with Rolly.
Oh, did you? Oh, you were okay. Sorry.
Hello, my name is B, and I am here with a kitten named Whiskey,
Whiskey.
and I am in 6th grade.
Don't get me started.
And honestly, I think that Whiskey is my favorite cat because he's kind of the nicest.
Hi, I'm Mallory Stewart, and I'm a 7th grader at the North Little Rock Middle School. And this is Moana. She's a silky, and she's probably one of my favorite chickens.
Hi, my name is Harper Lee. This is Bob. He is one of our indoor rabbits at the farm.
Hi, my name is Lamisa Soleil, and this is Yang. He's a silky, and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name is Anaya Johnson. This is another kitten. Her name is Dolly, and I'm in 6th grade.
Behind you.
Oh, we got one more.
Behind.
Mr. Will.
My name is William Jeffries, and this chicken I have here is a breed called Australorp, and her name is Matilda.
It's what name?
Matilda.
Matilda.
Matilda, okay.
Very good.
Down under, right? So
Very good.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Outstanding.
So how do you all get funding, like like for food, or do you have to buy like the animals, or do they come donated?
well, I get a check twice a month, and I donate it to the farm. It's like, no, but we write grants. We write grants, and the kids have they help on the grants a lot, a whole lot. More so now than they used to. And then I believe we're built into the budget. Mr. Clark digs in his own pocket a lot. And then also, we work really closely with Mrs. Riggins, and Ms. Riggins, sometimes our homeless families in need, they will be, I don't know, to say this correctly, they'll be inundated with our okra maybe, for instance, because we had so much for the past 2 years, and they don't want any more. I mean, they don't want any more. They've had enough, or they can't cook it before it runs, or something like that. So we are able to take, the kids have learned to process the okra, not just fresh okra, but they will process it. Scout was in charge of that. They got it, sliced it, got it all ready for freezing. They flash froze it, and then they put it in 1 pound bags. And the teachers, I think, the teachers would give them a donation, and they would give them a pound of okra. So that is one way that we did a few things like that. We also trade seeds with area farmers. We pulled a bunch of our vegetables and set them open and saved them. So we'll plant our own seeds next year.
Question.
Yeah.
Whoops. Do you work any with Heifer International?
We do work some. I did have a really good friend there, and he's moved on to another job now, but we have some contacts there. In fact, we'll be going to them about our pigs, but I take kids down there a lot, but
Right.
Understand that for the past 2 years, we haven't gotten to go very many places to do anything. Well, we've been nowhere. We've done little to nothing. I mean, as far as outside of the confines of the farm or the middle school.
Right.
So, yes, but we do. We get a lot of things from them. They give us a lot, and they offer a good deal of advice. I couldn't trade or pay for that, for sure.
Have you had pigs before?
No, we as the kids will tell you, I've been talking about it for years now. However, I can talk about it all I want, but the farm is run by the kids, not me. So unless they take the initiative to step forward and move with the project and take it by the reins and they direct it, they ask me questions, but they've got to get on it or it doesn't happen. So they laugh, thinking that I've been talking about it forever and I haven't started it when it goes right back to, that's their baby, you know? that's their baby, so.
That's awesome.
They'll take care of that. And there was a couple of different subjects that some of y'all want to talk about. Anybody want to tell about that? We also have a summer program. I'm sorry. We also have a summer program. I didn't know if was this the 5th year, 5th year?
Our ag building is going to be beneficial and to a lot of things, to the animals, to the crops, to learning, getting on hands learning, and all of that. Once we learn something, we can go ahead and jump on that. We can like actually start doing it, start getting our hands on it and everything. So like as KJ said, we're working on getting pigs. So like if for some reason a pig got sick or an animal got sick, we could take it into the ag building and doctor it and give it fresh water, and it would have heat and air whenever something happens.
Also, the ag building will allow us to jump into we'll jump into hands on learning as soon as you learn it. It'll make harvesting crops easier because as of right now, our room is down at the actual school, so we have to walk down our driveway. It's quite a long walk down, and it'd be easier just to be able to walk over to our building and weigh our produce, wash it, and do all the necessary needs. It also allows us to have better care for the animals, as Harper said. We can take care of them, we can doctor them easier, and we don't have to, because as of right now, our room does not have very much room. It doesn't have very much room in it, and it's something that's very vital to growing and extending it.
Or a door. You know, we made our own door. It's been fun. Yeah. No, put her inside.
So, students, we're going to have to wrap this up because we have gone over our time, but we appreciate Dr. Paluski and board members for allowing us to come. So, girls, boys, if y'all would, let's load them up and move them out.
I don't think Miss Preston West wants to get rid of that one.
Thank you.
Why do you have
You're welcome. Thank you.
Wash your
It
hands.
was only for like the last second.
Hey, are both
I think it's great. Showcasing what we do.
Oh, you need to go down. I can't do none of that, but it's cute.
Here, let the tall people in the back. I'll get how about that?
Who? I'm fine. I'm enjoying an animal. I couldn't stay. I'm not.
We do it one time.
1, 2, 3.
Thank the parents. Hey, Miss Temple. I said, go ahead and thank the parents since they leave.
Okay, all right. Thank you all for coming.
know I love
Thank you,
you.
parents, for bringing the students.
Okay.
Thank y'all again.
My best teacher.
Do we have
Yeah.
some wipes, some alcohol wipes or disinfectant wipes? Wipe up.
Well, Miss Crystal will help pick that up. Well, we have some presenters, that's true.
Yeah.
Some wood chips.
Y'all might sit down and gather feathers.
So we are on to board member and superintendent involvement.
Yes, ma'am. Board member involvement first.
I had the privilege of attending Boone Park's Parent Involvement Night. It was movie in the park. I was amazed. It was cold, but when I left, parents were still coming to watch the movie in the park. And so it was a really great turnout, and they did a really good job.
Excellent.
Just a couple of things. I hope everyone got to get out and see Matilda, the North Little Rock High School theater program. It was, or the musical, which they did in the fall this year. It was wonderful. I helped with the cast and crew party. Basically, I hauled the stuff my wife told me to, so I know my place. I wanted to also brag on the Wildcat Foundation because I wasn't here last month, but in the last 2 months, we've been able to fund almost $16,000 in teacher grants at the high school. It was $14,000 last month and about $1,200 this month. So we can't do that without the support of the community, and we thank everyone that's supporting us, and we thank all the teachers for going the extra mile to do the requests and the projects that are tied to those requests.
Yes, quickly, I went to Fall Fest, 7th Street. Of course, they initially had to reschedule because of the weather, but they had it inside, and it was all day, as a matter of fact, and it was very good. Also want to recognize a young man that we should all be proud of. I went to the official signing of Khalil Ware. He's one of our standout basketball players, signed the scholarship with Oregon University out in the Pac-10. Outstanding school. He's gonna do great. He's a good student. That's another example how athletics can lead to education. Also, Nick Smith signed with the University of Arkansas, so he's officially now going to be a Razorback. And to have two going to top major college this damn time from the same school, it's almost unheard of. So I want to congratulate those two outstanding young men.
Oh, I donated to 2 elementary schools for the Fall Festival Carnival, and also donated to the North Rock Homeless Liaison to Mrs. Riggins, and I also met with the North Rock Education Foundation to recruit fundings for our teachers for the spring. Thank you.
And I had an opportunity to attend, I think it was, I can't remember the name of the church, but one of the mentoring sessions for the North Little Rock School District. And it was a lot of information, and I actually had referred 2 of my friends, and they were able to sign up. I know one of them got their certificate already.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go very, very quickly. October 25th and the 26th, we had our Superintendent Town Hall Forums. That was recognized here tonight. On October 27th, I did meet with Senator English and Representative Wing regarding the AAA. On October 27th, we began our principal budget sessions. That has been very helpful. Also on the 27th and 28th, that Ms. Person West, we had our community mentoring sessions. Those had gone very, very well. I had the opportunity to attend those. November the 1st, we had our superintendent staff advisory. I also attended the district PTA meeting that night. On the 2nd of November, we had our superintendent's parent advisory. On the 3rd of November, our monthly meeting with Mayor Hartwick and his staff. I attended on the 5th the FYI chamber luncheon. On November the 8th, we had our mentor orientation. On November the 9th, I was honored to be a guest speaker at the University of Pennsylvania on transformational leadership and change. I was very honored to be invited to do that. I met with Dr. Ellsby, who is the president of Pulaski Tech, just talking about workforce development, how do we work together. On November, which was last week, November the 12th, Mr. Barnes and I, as well as Ms. Barker, went to Meadow Park, and they had the NEAT program, which is never ever absent or tardy, and it was outstanding. They were all dressed up. What I loved the most was the 5th grade students were serving and acting as leaders to their other students. They got certificates, just doing a remarkable, and in fact, Meadow Park has had the best attendance this year than they've had in the last 5 years. And kudos to
Awesome.
Meadow Park Elementary School.
Thank you.
Yes,
Out of the box.
that is, they're doing a great job. On November 16th this week, I did attend the House Education Committee on the AAA, and that's it.
Great. A lot going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, information items.
Madam President, members of our board, I'll ask my colleague, Mr. Stone, our Executive Director of Student and Equity Services, to just do a brief overview of student choice. You know, we're getting into December, we're going to get into January, so we want to launch earlier our marketing campaign in December. So I know that Mr. Stone's going to do a brief overview.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Pulaski. Thank you for this opportunity to present. I want to just highlight a few of the choices that we as a district do to serve our families and especially invite our families into our community. Will this advance for me? We just want the purpose tonight is just to review the choice enrollment options for Norfolk Rock School District, and then also just to recruit families to become a part of us, part of our community. I'll let you, Mr. Staggers, if you can do that for me, I appreciate that. It's not, go back a slide, a couple slides. Right there, right there. We want to talk about legal transfer, teacher's choice, and school choice as the 3 options. Those are the outside options that brings children to us. The first option, briefly, will be legal transfer. Legal transfer is where students outside of school choice ends May 1st, so there's a time period in which families may have missed that opportunity, they can utilize the legal transfer option to come to us. Right now, currently in our numbers for this month, we have 55 students identified as legal transfer students. Next slide. Teacher's choice. This is an option for our teachers. We encourage our teachers to bring their children to school, to our district with them. And so they can utilize the teacher's choice as well when they come, if it's outside of those the school choice bounds or the legal transfer option, they can go ahead and use the teacher's choice option. Right now, we currently have 141 students on teacher's choice. And the highlighted piece tonight is school choice. What we want to do is kind of talk a little bit about school choice because we're getting ready to roll out some communication with our community so we can start inviting school families to complete application for school choice. School choice will begin January 1st and it'll end, or January 4th, right after the break, and it'll end May 1st. The end of the day on May 1st, we'll stop accepting application according to the law. And these are the guidelines. This starts in our district, so not like the legal transfer that starts in the non-resident or the resident district. School choice starts in the non-resident district. So if a kid wanted to come or a family wanted to come from a different district, they'll come to us first. And then we'll accept that application as long as we have space to do so. Last year, the 21-22 school year, when we were preparing for this school year, we collected 208 applicants, in which we accepted all of them. Step-by-step procedures, we look at, we have to go by state numbers in our elementary buildings. We can have a total capacity for kindergarten, 20 students, first through third, 25 students, fourth and fifth, 28 students. So we use a matrix where we don't go over those numbers. If you look at how many sections per school that they have for those grade levels, then you would notice, like for example, the kindergarten, 4 sections at 20 students would equal 80 spaces that we could fill. And then we'll use that matrix in order to fill those spaces. And you can go to the next slide for me. You'll see we step by step is to identify all of our zone students first. We'll identify who they are by pulling that data from eSchool, and we'll save spaces for families that may move in over the summertime. But then we'll start with our school choice, and then we'll go to our teacher's choice and our other choices to fill those spaces. So we'll start with zone kids so that we can save space over the summer for those that may move in, and then we'll fill those empty spaces with those choices. And that will be the conclusion of our presentation tonight. Are there any questions that you may have? I want to let you know that the best advertisement is word of mouth. And now that you guys know, we're getting ready to start and kick off this campaign. We're going to, in December, start. Mr. Barnes' office will be working with a company to start highlighting North Little Rock and start piquing the interest of communities around us and the families around us that may want to come to us. So we wanted to give you a brief overview so you can help us with that effort to bring families into the North Little Rock School District. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
And it's I have one quick. Once you've been approved, you don't have to fill out the application again. You're there.
That's correct, ma'am. They are there through the age of 12th grade. They can graduate with us. There are some reasons that they can no longer be with us if they move. For instance, if they're in Pulaski County and they apply to us from Pulaski County and they move outside of Pulaski County School District zone into Little Rock, then they would have to reapply, things like that. But yes, they can stay with us through graduation. Any further questions? Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a question real quick. So going back on the step-by-step
Yes, ma'am.
Assignment procedures, 4 sections, just for kindergarten, for example,
Mhm.
and a max student class per class is 20. So I think my question is, do you ever like exceed that number, or how does that like kind of determine, like if you, like for example, Ridge Road Elementary, so there have a certain amount of students per class. Do you ever like, I guess, go over that, or how is that like determined once you put your zone kids in, and then go to your next choices? How do you like factor all that in, or
Okay.
I guess what I'm asking is, how do you know how many, zone kids you're gonna have at a particular school versus the other choices that it's gonna, do you ever like run into like overcapacity, or?
We do run into that, because there's no sure way to know unless the kids are in the seat, all right? So what happens is, and I think I'm identify what you're asking here, when I run numbers in the spring, as close as I can to May, before we start making those choices or assigning students. In May, we don't assign school choice until after May 1st. And we get to all of our zone kids first, so I run the final report, or close as we can to the next year's report, and then we determine how many students that are already rolling over into that kindergarten class from pre-K, or that first grade class from kindergarten, and we'll determine how many seats are available after we roll those numbers up. And then I'll look at how many we need to save possibly for those who are moving in over the summer. And that's just a guess. We make our best guess, and then if there's an overage, then we look at moving students to where there's not an overage. We didn't have many students, or we don't have many students to move after we've done all that we do to ensure that we don't go over.
Are you at capacity before you, like when you run your numbers, are you pretty much at capacity like with your zoned students?
For the most part, no.
Okay, got
No.
you.
Any other questions?
That's all I had.
Yes,
Okay.
what is,
Yes, ma'am.
if someone wants to be in a different zone, let's say my child went to Ridge Road and I moved into another zone, but I want my child to stay in Ridge Road because all their friends are there.
Okay,
So what's that?
That's not one of those choices. That's a intra-district choice, and we look at those at a separate time. We fill our school choice, kids coming from outside the district first, and then if there's a permission that's needed to be granted. If there's something like, I just want to move with my friends, I mean, that's probably not a good enough reason to move. But if there's a daycare need, or because some of the daycares only serve this school, and I was only able to get my child into that daycare, and they can pick up there, we collect information from the daycare and a job letter from the parent, and we'll make that request as necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Very
Stone.
good report. Thank you.
CPPC and LPPC monthly report.
Yes, Madam President, we have 9.1, the committee chair summary report, which will be the Classified Personnel Policy Committee, and the presenter will be Mr. Donald Williams, the CPPC chair. Welcome, Mr. Williams.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Just want to give you an update of where the CPPC is. We recently voted to accept the additional COVID pay proposal that was proposed to us. And also, we are currently working on the district calendar with the LPPC. And also, we're looking into the salary schedule increases. Our proposal for that, we haven't came up with anything as of yet, but we are doing our due diligence to get that before you as soon as possible.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for your committee report. Very realistic. The committee agreed that we would come up with a fair proposal that would benefit classified employees across the salary schedule. And I think that's very good, that you look at these considerations And you mentioned one thing that was very important in your committee report. Because of student decline, you know that finances weren't necessarily available. And that you noted that the transportation had been given raises, but you felt that it should be across. But I do think that you all are on the right track on consideration of the whole thing. Now, you mentioned something when you first started talking. What was that proposal you said that, would you go back to that first statement?
It's the COVID additional,
Oh,
pay.
okay then.
That proposal.
Okay, I know you would for that money, it's good. Okay, but overall, as far as your committee report, very impressive, and I appreciated it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And 9.1B is the License Personnel Policy Committee report, and that will be by Ms. Carolyn Jackson, the LPPC Chair. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Lucy, board members, thank you so much. Maddie Barker, my co-chair, has come today with me as well to help present.
And we want to take the opportunity to apologize that we don't have furry, snuggly things to offer you.
So the LPPC, we had our monthly meeting on this past Monday, and we have not had our minutes approved, so we did not have those for you. So those will be forthcoming as soon as we get our approvals done. We wanted to update you first on what we did meet on Monday. We did meet, Mr. Williams joined us for our meeting, as well as Ms. Makisha from Finance, to sit in to start talking about some of our proposal and the questions that you had from our proposal meeting on workshop day. We also discussed the next school year's calendar and the issues that we're facing with creating the calendar, given the new state laws and all of the guidelines and boundaries we still have to follow to create the calendar. And so we are working on calendar drafts and working with the CPPC to get a calendar draft ready for voting for the staff to bring to you for proposal.
In reference to the calendar, we've been in contact with ADE, talking about the new law that was passed to change the start date of the school year, as well as they changed the requirement for student contact time from days to hours. And so we were seeking clarification on that. We did hear back from ADE that the bill of assurance will be posted the week after Thanksgiving break, so that we do have 3 different drafts to address each contingency. And once that bill of assurance is posted, we'll be able to narrow down from there. And then our process is to poll the staff, and whatever the staff's preference is what we present to you. As well, in our business, we had a guest. We had Kathy Hale visit to add information about our salary proposal that hopefully, if it's kicked back, we will be including to change, to suggest a change to the contracts for the counselors. Currently, they're working over their contract days by an extensive amount, and they're doing timesheets for that extra time. And we would just like to change their contract to reflect what is actually being served, to pull that timesheet piece out of our process.
So with Kathy Hale's proposal, we had also briefly addressed stipends, the monster of stipends. And so having to come in and be thinking about those stipends, as well as thinking about our proposal for our salaries. We did pass, we're working on some bylaws for our own committee to make sure that we're working forward and leaving behind for new members coming up in the future, so that we can have a solid, stable, and no one's left kind of not knowing what to do when they step into the LPPC. So we're working on LPPC bylaws to help make us more effective and for set up for the future LPPC members.
And finally, we approved the COVID pay as it was presented to y'all in workshop. One thing that was a conversation was splitting it in half to give a carrot halfway through the year and then at the end. But after speaking with Finance, Edwards, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miss Edwards, she suggested to us that in order to change that, it would be pulling back, running numbers again, talking to y'all again. You know, it would just start us back at square one, so we did end up approving it as it was. But in the future, considering doing something at the end of each semester. Okay.
And so that does bring us to our proposal, as our policy is that once the LPPC has voted on a policy to bring to the board, that we have to follow that through and ask for a board vote. Before we do ask you for that vote, we do have some new numbers from Mr. Brown, who gave us our all-in number on the first $4,000 raise, which does include the changes to the master level. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for bringing those up.
And it's encouraging to see it didn't change the total cost that much to adjust the master's lanes. It went from 4.2 to 4.4.
And then in addition, the only change we made to our proposal for the raise is to add Ms. Wankum's request for us to add the Jonesboro numbers in. So, and then to resource the turnover rates to get those for the previous years, where the DESI rates show the new teacher turnover for the previous 4 years of schooling. So we are consistently at about 54% turnover of our new teachers every single year for the last 4 years.
And the state is at 17%, so we're well above state.
Okay, so if you don't, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. To clarify, you're saying that within the first year of employment, our turnover rate is 54%?
Yes.
We're losing half of our first-year teachers.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And this state is only losing 17%.
This is the total proposal for every step, right? For
Yes, ma'am.
every-
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I read the initial one that you had for administrators that was in the packet. So what you did is you went back and did the whole scenario individually?
Well, we just had some numbers that we did not have at the workshop, and Mr. Brown had to get us those numbers where we needed the numbers for the adjusted master's lane to make that more equitable spread across the lanes, because we had said that initial, if you'll remember, that initial master's level that we're at now is a much lower and oddly spaced amount for you getting your master's degree as it is as you move forward up your education level. And so with the adjustments that we were proposing for the equity of that lane,
Okay.
plus the 4,000 for everyone, that's our final total number for the first 4,000 of our raise request.
Is this the same one that you had sent in our package?
Yes, ma'am.
So you just giving it to us again because I read it thoroughly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we
So
just
it's
wanted
just-
to make sure we had,
Oh, you just
we
wanna
got
make
this
sure
from
we got
Mr.
it
Brown.
again.
Yeah,
Oh.
Mr. Brown just gave this to us, so we wanted to make sure you also had a
I
copy
know
of
it
that.
looked repetitive.
Mr. Brown, would you like to just brief us on what you've passed out to us, sir? If I may, Madam President?
Yes, sir.
So to be clear, we're not voting right now. We'll vote later in new business, right? This is just informational at this point.
Because we're not.
Correct,
taking
or
action.
we could discuss this at the time in which you've got to act on it.
Okay,
That would be up to the board.
that's fine. I just didn't want to get into a debate at this point
Yeah,
until we
and
get
it's-
to the
and
new
it's probably a
business
good
item.
idea, because it was just, and I wasn't sure if Mr. Brown, what he was sharing was part of the LPPC, but it's probably more of that we should discuss this at the action item component. So, I'm gonna suggest we hold off until
Yes.
that point,
Yeah, I think that'd probably be
because this is
best.
just.
So we have a new
their
business
report.
item to actually vote on it, and we'll get into more details. Okay.
Thank you so much for your due diligence.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Don't go anywhere.
And could I say to you all, so you can understand as a board, you all have done a tremendous job as far as researching, and I have to commend you. First time it's ever been done of this nature, and that's a compliment, okay?
Thank you.
But with all due consideration, as it all four stated, give us an opportunity with Mr. Brown, and we're making a recommendation to the superintendent what he can do for the whole district at this time. You do know what the process of a new building, middle school we're considering. Process, we still have the old main building. And our most and key factor that is really holding us back when we have a decline in student enrollment. And the proposal that you have, I would certainly like for the board for us to go back and send it back to you all so that you all can come back a counter proposal of something that you would have with along with the superintendent, you know. But to you, you have done a phenomenal job, okay?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you. That's what the LPPC is requesting tonight, to either have a yes, no, or a send it back with conditions vote from you tonight.
All right, and thank you, Mr. Superintendent, and Mr. Brown, for you working with them to help them. And remember, said it's not a no, but it's a point of consideration that we work together to see what we can do for the whole district, okay?
Yes.
Don't go nowhere. We're gonna get back to y'all.
We'll have
All right.
a bigger discussion.
You might, yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to wait up
Yeah.
here while we do these
Yeah.
other couple of
Yeah.
things, so, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're on to action items. Oh, we're gonna reorganize the board
Yes.
tonight.
Item 10.1, reorganization.
Your lucky
Board of
night, Ms.
Education.
Temple.
Okay. It's time to shuffle seats. And,
Madam President,
yes,
have a nomination. I'd like to nominate Dr. Rochelle Redis for president.
Second.
I agree.
all right. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor of Dr. Redis as president?
Well, should we wait to see if there are any other nominations? I mean, I'm not gonna nominate myself, so, but I'm fine with that,
Okay,
yes.
any
I'm in
other
support of that.
nominations?
You have to say, are there any more nominations?
Okay.
3 times.
3
1,
times.
2,
All right,
President.
3 times.
Parliamentarian.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other nominations for president? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay. If not, we will close and vote for this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Congratulations, Dr.
Thank
Redis.
you.
Okay, now I will entertain nominations for vice president.
Madam Chair, current Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Dorothy Williams for Vice President.
Ooh, second.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay. I've moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Congratulations, Ms. Withers.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Angela West for secretary.
Are there
Second.
any other nominations?
Okay.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say aye.
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate JT, I'm sorry, I was supposed to say Zukreski. I messed up his last name, that's why I said JT, for parliamentarian.
Second.
Who's second?
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Zukreski as the parliamentarian?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Congratulations.
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate Ms. Temple as a dispersing officer.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so I need a nomination for alternative dispersing officer.
There's nobody else left, so I would like to nominate Mr. Steele.
No, we have legislative liaison.
We need to have that position too, so.
Yeah. Well,
So
you
can
can
we
have more
ask,
than one position.
Mr.,
Oh.
would JT, would you do both of them?
What's
That's
that?
just an alternate. It's an alternate.
I would, but I'd rather nominate Ms. Wancom so that she has a position on the
Oh,
board.
yeah, she's not here.
But she's
That'd be
not
fine,
here.
yes.
Does she
You have to be present.
You have to be present?
Unless we want to hold the position until the next board meeting, but you have to be present.
I don't know.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Ms. Williams, that's right, you had to be present?
I don't know why.
We've
why-
never really actually
why?
had an alternative dispersing officer, so to me, or it's up to y'all.
Well, how about
But those
this?
last two,
Is that in our
we could
policy?
actually do, yeah, you have to be here.
Well, let's do this, and I would like to nominate Mr. Steele as the legislative liaison. And then we
Second.
can hold the other position until the
Yes.
next meeting.
Yes.
Second.
Okay, is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? Okay, it's been, you have a question?
Ms.
Mr.
Williams,
Steele?
she's a parliamentarian. We need an overall motion for all the
Yes.
officers.
I was about to say
From what
that.
I'm hearing, they were just nominations, there was no motion. I mean, there was
Oh,
a second
okay.
of the nomination.
Yes.
but
Okay, all right.
Okay, so yeah, we
Okay.
You could list them, somebody
So-
can make a motion and read everybody's name.
Right, there we go.
All right,
Everybody has.
I'll make a motion that our president be Dr. Redis, our vice president be Dot Williams, our secretary be Ms. West, our parliamentarian be J.T. Zakreski, our dispersing officer be Ms. Cindy Temple, our legislative liaison be Mr. Tracy Steele, and that we hold the alternate dispersing officer until the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, well, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
All right, Ms.
Everybody has
Redis.
been reshuffled. Are we moving tonight?
I think she takes over now.
Okay,
Ms. Temple,
yes.
don't we have to, do that for the superintendent is automatically the, treasurer,
You're correct.
secretary treasurer of the board? You can get that?
So we have to do that on this as well?
This is the part of the election that he's automatically, that's a position
What's
that's
the name of
automatically
it?
given
I
to
forgot
the
what the name of it is.
superintendent. But it seems like you all are vague on it, so we'll let Ms. Cole Quick, we'll do a little research.
There is an automatic position,
And
but I don't know what
also,
the name of it
Ms.
is.
Mr. Brown will let you know how soon the signatures need to be changed for your position of a disbursing officer.
Well, you may have mine, do you have mine on file? Yeah, they already have mine.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, new job next is.
Ms. Temple,
Williams, keep it
We-
straight.
Did we have a vote on that or not? Did I miss it? Did we actually vote on my motion yet?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right, just making sure.
okay.
Ms. Temple, it is my honor on behalf of the Superintendent of Schools and behalf of the Board of Education to give you this beautiful plaque
It is beautiful.
in appreciation for your leadership as the Board President during 2020, 2021. And so if everyone will please join me in a round of applause for Ms. Temple's service.
Oh, okay. Oh, we all come?
Let Dr. Redis go down there, yeah.
It is pretty.
All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Who's that smiling?
I know.
Get the smiles with your eyes.
Let's just stay where we are. We need to stay where we are for the night.
It's the ex, we need a motion for him to be the ex officio, say it again. Ex officio financial secretary.
Okay.
All righty. I'll make a motion that Dr. Gregory Paluski be our ex officio financial secretary.
Second.
It has been properly moved and seconded that Dr. Paluski be the ex officio financial secretary. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much. I accept.
I hope so. The next item is employment of personnel.
Madam President, action item 10.2, employment of personnel. The superintendent recommends the employment of personnel as discussed in executive closed session.
Madam President,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the employment of personnel as presented in executive session.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we accept the employment of personnel. Any discussion? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. It has been adopted. 10.3, Licensed Personnel Policy Committee Salary Proposal. We're welcome. Come on back.
And Mr. Brown, if you would not mind joining them as well.
Do we want a motion before we have a discussion?
I would say let them finish
Yeah,
what they
maybe
had started.
we'll let them
and then
start,
we'll have-
and then I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Brown to give us some information that you had requested.
Okay.
Ms. Jackson.
So the proposal that we have, that we brought to you in workshop, like we had said, we did not change the proposal since because it was a voted approved item from the LPPC. The only additions that we did make were small adjustments to, including the addition of the Jonesboro lane for the comparison, which shows again another district that is similar in size but paying above us on every level like the others were. And so we again we are requesting the salary proposal, the salary raise, based on a long history of our teachers having done without the raise. It's been well over 10 years since the last time teachers had received a raise, barring the state mandated raise, where, as we discussed in a workshop, where some teachers ended up getting pennies rather than even a whole dollar on their salary amount. That we are losing teachers to other districts around us. We are falling behind our competition, competitive districts in being able to retain our teachers. And we would like to give our teachers a salary that is livable, that can cover the cost of the inflation that is currently on us, that helps them pay their insurance, which keeps rising, and that lets them live and feel valued as teachers in this district. We're hoping that with our first $4,000 raise, that brings us closer to the surrounding districts in competition for salary, that it will also greatly benefit our teachers who are struggling. And while we realize that there is a large price tag that comes with this, there is also a large price tag that comes with losing good, valuable teachers and classrooms with no teachers and students that are unhappy because they have teachers who are unhappy. So while all these are large factors, we must support our teachers.
So the purpose is to explain and present our approved salary increase to make things equitable and competitive. We also want to address teacher retention and recruitment, so keeping and getting more. The background information is the same as what we went over with the workshop, kind of what Carolyn was touching on. And then if you move down to the turnover, so right after your background information, teacher turnover, we have a chart there that compares the district to the state, and as you can see, we've consistently been well above the state average for teachers that we're losing. The next slide would be our current salary schedule as it is. You can see where we max out on steps. The step is typically aligned with years of experience, and going across the top is your education. The next would be things that we are addressing. So high turnover rates, unsatisfied positions, like we mentioned in workshop. We have classrooms still today that do not have staffed teachers in them. We are comparing, so then if you move down to, we're kind of going a little quicker because we talked about it in workshop. If you move down to salary comparisons, every cell that is green is where a district is paying more than we are. So Little Rock School District, there has been a change to that column from the last time we presented because their raises were approved right as we were presenting to y'all. So that has changed. Pulaski County Special School District also that night that we were presenting approved a raise as well. So those two have changed because of changing information. You can see that most of the boxes are green, meaning we're being outpaced in most areas by a significant amount. If in your packet that was sent to you, you have the salary schedule from Little Rock, Pulaski County, Bryant, Jacksonville, Conway, and Jonesboro. They're not in our PowerPoint presentation, but they were included in your board packet. So if you, as you're reading through or looking, you can make your own comparisons. One thing that's helpful as we were looking at this or doing this study is to create a hypothetical teacher. I've been in the district 7 years. I have my master's degree, no additional education above that. Find that cell and then find it on all other schedules. The next would be teacher retention proposal. So this is breaking our proposal down into 3 parts. One is to address the inequities of the schedule, the master's lane, and then part 2 would be to add 4,000 to every cell, and then part 3 to survey our past and current and future employees to gather more data of what else we can do to increase retention and recruitment, because we're not going to be able to match Little Rock for dollar, but we can maybe sweeten the deal with other packages. If you want to move through the rest of it.
So another reason we were asking for adjustments to the salary schedule were the inequities that we have within our own salary schedule. For teachers, there's a slide that says inequalities in education lanes, where we have an odd progression, like as you can see it just on step 1, we have an odd progression where you get 900 for your first 12 hours past your bachelor's, you get 980, then you get 2770, then you get only 500, then you get another 500, then you get 925, then you get 1150 for a specialist, but then you get less for a doctorate. And so we have a lot of inequities going across that don't make sense for our teachers. And when you look down the master's lane, you'll see that the more experience you have, you're getting your master's at a higher level experience is actually worth less money to you than getting one when you're in your younger years. And the one huge issue with that as well is that we can't keep those new teachers because they are turning over. So they might come to us, get their master's, and leave our district for someone that's going to pay them even more. And so your teachers who are here that are working very hard to stay here, they are getting less than we're even giving our own new teachers, which is an inequity that we need to fix.
And if you also notice, all the columns as they progress are consistent. So bachelor's plus 12 is a consistent jump all the way down, plus 24 consistent. Master's dwindles as it goes down. Master's plus 15 and 30 increase as they go down. And then we go back to being consistent with 45 specialists and doctorate. And so just making that more consistent across the board. And those were the adjustments that we made.
We did need to fix the inequalities and experience step as well, where we can see that everybody, as they go down there, or as they have experience within their own education lane, they all get 1,000 as they go down and across until you get masters where it's less, and then you start getting more again. And so the inequalities by numbers, they just, you can see that they don't make sense. And so we know we need to fix that.
So that was part one of the proposal. That part two would be a 4,000 raise to every cell. This is mimicking what the other districts around us are doing. Then the next slide is your proposed salary schedule, which you also have in your packet. This one has the plus 15 lane.
And this is the one where you were asking us for final numbers, and so that is what Brian Brown has provided to us tonight, where he gives us the final all-in number for all of those adjustments, fixing those inequities in the education lanes and the experience lanes, plus the 4,000 for every teacher existing in the district on every salary box, and then our all-in total is the 4.4 million, which we realize is a large number, but we also know that our staff is our school. Our teachers and our students are our school. Our buildings are not our school. Our teachers and our staff are our school. And so our investment needs to go where the people are, not where things are pretty. And I know that sounds a little inelegant, but we just want to make sure that, again, that teachers do not get lost in all these projects that we're thinking of and considering, and that it's the people that make North Little Rock. It's not the buildings, and it's not the pretty things.
And for the good of the group, I know that the board is aware of this, and we mentioned it during workshop, but for the good of our community members participating in our meeting virtually, the way that we've budgeted in the past, and Mr. Brown can give us more clarity on this, has been using what we spent the previous year and using that to project what we'd spend the next year. And though when you budget that way, that never leaves room for raises because you're needing to keep things as consistent year to year as possible. But moving to more of a rolling forecast of a budget would allow us to make room for raises and make room for other changes like cost of living increase or inflation or projects coming up in the future, things like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I would love to hear kind of Mr. Brown, because as I was, and maybe it's just my own clarity, Mr. Brown, you help clarify. In your overall proposal, which is the master's lanes, that's kind of part one, and 4,000 to each box, is the grand total of the ask 4.2, or is it 4.3, which is the numbers that you're getting ready to share with us? Or is it 8 million?
It's 4.4
Okay.
million.
Right, which is on the sheet you're getting ready to share with us? Both of those, that is your ask, right? Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So I have numbers for the 4,000 per box.
That was the
which
4.2.
That was the 4.2 million, and then I have they had requested numbers on adjusting the master's column. And if you'll look at page 11 of the computer, this little document here, if you'll look at page 11, you can see
The master's goes up.
yeah, so, you see the bachelor's there, it's 4,000 all the way down. Bachelor's plus 12, 4,000 all the way down. Bachelor's plus 24. And then the master's, it's 4,000 on the first box, 4080, 4160, 4240, 4320, and it increases down to 5360. So they had requested the numbers on a change there to the master's column, and then it goes back to 4,000 for the other boxes. So just that, this worksheet reflects that change, not only the 4,000, but also the change in the master's column.
So the master's column plus the 4,000 in each box, grand total, both of those 4.413, 120.94.
Yes.
Do I have that right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then that's based on this year's staffing levels, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I guess we'll need a motion, one way or the other, right? So I'm gonna make a statement, then I'm gonna make a motion that I don't like very much, but I'll get there. I wanna be able to say yes to this. I've told both of you this. I told everyone that came and presented this. But here's where the way I look at it is, first of all, I don't want to look at the rolling changes in our budget because they're going down every year. So that wouldn't help. I mean, when you talk about sort of projecting next year, we're headed in the wrong direction. So I'm going to look at this year and give you the best shot we can get. If we give a raise that increases the budget $4.4 million, we're going to find ourselves doing things in the next few years that we don't want to do. We're going to be spending more money than we have coming in. I mean, that's just the reality. And I don't want to be in a position where we're starting to cut positions and doing things that I simply do not want to do as a board member. It's hard enough to vote against a proposal from the teachers, because that's what I'm up here to do, is to try to help the teachers. And then I turn around and say, well, I'm talking out of this side of my mouth saying I want to help you, but no, sorry, can't do it. So I won't be able to vote to approve this proposal in whole. But what I'm going to ask is, I'm going to ask Mr. Brown and Mr. Paluski to come up with a number, because it's unfair to you. We're not negotiating in good faith if we're just telling you to come to us with proposals. We have to give you an idea of a number that's reasonable, that we can work with as a district, and then you formulate a plan that fits within that number. Does that make sense? I mean, that's only the only fair way to do it. And you can push that number a little bit, but at least it gives you a target. So, we have to look at, I'm not talking about buildings. I don't want to talk about buildings because I see that as completely separate. I mean, I know that it all comes out of the same pot, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. We need to look at the amount of money we've been putting into the fund every year. Basically, how much money do we have left over? That's money we have to work with. We need to look at money we've given out in bonuses in the last several years and find a way to roll that over into a raise, and to commit that to the teachers and go, this isn't a one-time thing, this is an ongoing thing. And we need to come up with that number and come up with what's fair, we think, to allocate to the LPPC to work with. So my motion is to, I don't know how it should be worded, but to vote down the proposal from the LPPC. But I'm also going to direct our administration to work with them in good faith. And I know we're in the process of looking at our staffing, but we have to work with them in good faith and give them an idea of what they have to work with, or else it's simply unfair to them. So the motion, in its essence, is to vote down the proposal.
Second.
Okay, so let me clarify. I'm trying to write it to make sure.
My motion is simply to vote. I don't know how it should be worded perfectly.
To reject the LPPC's current proposal.
I hate the word reject, but if I have to use the word reject, I'll use the word reject, yes.
Well, because we either have to accept it, reject it, or send it back.
Well,
We want to send it back, right?
I mean, they can come to us with another way. If we need to send it back, we can send it back. I mean, we need this to work, but we can send it back, but we need to work with them to help them put together a proposal we can accept. So I'll vote to send it back to the LPPC if that's the wording I need to use.
Well, now that, who seconded?
I did.
We rescinded?
No, I can make a friendly amendment to change it to send it back. That's fine.
So we're sending it back.
Mm-hmm.
With what's the instruction?
Well,
Sending it back to.
he already said it for Mr. Brown and Dr. Paluski to work with
Mhm.
them on to find a solution to. you know,
Find a
what-
number that
find a-
we
yeah,
can,
find-
that we can commit to, and then they can formulate, they can modify their proposal to try to fit that number.
Right. But listen, let's be real clear. All of us up here want you all to get a raise, okay? Teachers are definitely a valuable asset. We have to have you all. I think COVID and teaching at home proved that to a whole bunch of people that we need you all to have a raise. Not just we want to, but we have to do that. So I second everything JT said with Mr. Zakreski, but we just have to find out where. So don't get discouraged.
We're not.
Okay.
So it has to be.
Motion was on the floor, Madam President, so you need to go ahead.
And I'll second that motion, but I would like discussion.
Mhm.
Then it would, yeah.
Yep.
Discussion would be next, yep.
I just wanted to be clear. So the motion has been moved and seconded that we send back to the PPC, LPPC, with the charge to work with Mr. Brown and Dr. Paluski on how much we can.
We can commit to a raise. I mean, the
for a
administration
raise.
owes them a number to work with.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a couple questions. When you get the number, I know that our step is higher than most of the surrounding districts. I don't know exactly how much higher. I think some of them are 750 and ours are 1,000 or something along those lines. I wonder, do we know how many teachers we have in the district that are over 20 years that have maxed out on the table? Is that something y'all gathered when you were looking at this?
We did not gather.
It's
those
in your,
things.
it's in your
Okay,
packet. I
well,
can
I-
direct you to that data if you want.
Okay.
It's, if you look at page 3, page 3 of this big packet that I gave you,
Okay.
that's the number of employees that are on each step. So range 1 is bachelor's, range 2 is bachelor's plus 12.
Okay, so
So
we have
you
quite a
asked-
few that are,
You
At
asked
the
for
top
above
now.
20 on that far right column, you've got the total. So
okay,
20 years is 13, 21 is 18, 22 is 20, 23 is 108.
okay. Well,
And
my
then-
thought was maybe
And then
we do our
range 8
steps
and 9
smaller,
are
you could
the
put more on the
Okay.
front end. But I don't know if that's gonna work, because
So get that
it was just a
back.
thought on
Yep.
how
To
increase
clarify,
that
Ms. Temple,
starting.
you're saying like in our considerations, if we were to consider how big our steps are,
Yeah.
that we would be able to give more to our younger teachers or be able to extend our steps for our teachers for our
Well, I
veteran
was just
teachers.
thinking, if, we were talking about the turnover being so high, and I was just trying to come up with the money to entice the teachers, but I didn't realize we had that many, and we got quite a few in here that are maxed out.
Yes, ma'am. And in our, the slide on our presentation where we compare to other districts, it is comparing, let me
Overall
get to it.
pay.
It's not overall, we picked specific years to compare. So bachelor's with 5 years, bachelor's with 10, bachelor's with 15, master's with 5, master's with 10, master's with 15. And the ones that we are being outpaced in all of them, that means their steps are not only keeping up with our steps, but outpacing us, because when they get to master's 15, they're still outpaying us.
Okay,
So I hear what you're saying. I don't know that that's still true today, that we are outstepping anymore.
okay, all right, thank you.
Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Williams?
Ms. Jackson, you know, every time there's a raise given, the teachers that's been there the longest, they always top out, and they don't get a dime.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in your proposal and looking at that,
Well, it depends on the type of raise that is being given. So with
Okay.
the state raise, it was a raise to the bottom. It was a mandated raise to the bottom. And so most of our funds had to go to boosting the bottoms to meet the minimums, which ended up resulting in our people at the top not getting anything. With this particular proposal, everybody gets the bump, we won't be adding any more steps to the raise, but everybody would receive the bump. So no matter how long you are on, no matter what year, education step, no matter how long you've been in the district, you get the same raise as everyone else is our proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. West?
When was the last time you all had a cost of living raise? Not
Over-
necessarily pay raise, but just like a cost of living.
Over 10 years ago was the last time they addressed any type of raise with us.
2011.
That it? JT?
Madam President,
Yes.
first of all, thank you, ladies. And I just want to go on the record that as a former classroom teacher, I'm an advocate of teacher raises. I've learned a lot. When you hear you haven't had a cost of living increase since 2011, we all know the current cost, whether you're at the gas pump or whether you're at the grocery store, the dollar amount's gone up. And so I'm an advocate of teacher salary increases 100%. I'm also an advocate that all of our employees deserve an increase in their salary in some way, shape, or form. And so I'd be proud to work with Mr. Brown, the LPPC and CPPC, to figure out something in some way, shape, or form how we can meet not only your needs but all of our employees' needs. I think we all hear you, and we all want to do the right thing, but we all want to be fiscally responsible as well. There's no doubt that there are some structural things here that need to be addressed that I don't think are going to be short-term fixes. We need some long-term fixes, and I'm certainly an advocate for that. So I'll do everything I can with Mr. Brown to work side by side with them and the CPPC to maybe come back to the board with some options. Maybe an option is, hey, at $3 million, maybe we can't do 4,000 in a box, but we could do 1,000 to get started. I would like to propose, in working together, we come back with some options so that you know what those dollar amounts are. We still have to hear from CPPC. I really want to know what their dollar amount is so you as the board can see what's that total dollar amount we're looking at that's really going to be to our base budget, going forward, which I believe we have to, but within some of the parameters that we have.
Totally agree.
Any further discussion? There
Call
being,
for the question?
there being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion has been adopted. We are down to disposition of minutes of prior meetings.
Thank you for all your hard work.
And thank you guys.
Thank you
so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Thank you for your time.
And then thank you for breaking it down as far as the sending it back and the nose and all that.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Jackson and Company.
I'll entertain a motion for disposition of minutes of prior meetings.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
we should do the disposition.
Disposition of minutes of prior
Okay.
meetings.
I so move that we have the disposition of minutes that were for September the 2nd, September the 9th, September the 16th, September the 23rd, September the 28th, September the 7th. All of those were special board meetings. And then the board meeting, official board meeting, October 21, and another special board meeting, November the 4th. Need a second?
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion is adopted. The consent agenda, 10.5.
Madam President, members of our Board of Education, the consent agenda items 10.5A, the October 2001 Bank Reconciliation, 10.5B, the October 2021 Board Report, 10.5C, the October 2021 Payment of Regular Bills, 10.5D, October 2021 Business Office Items, and 10.5 Facility Use Requests.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move we accept the consent agenda as shared by the superintendent.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes. Dr. Paluski, can you quickly cover the facility use request and what that is?
Yes, that is from an outside organization, the Wind Symphony rental agreement. I'll probably have maybe Mr. Brown jump into this as well. This is an organization that wants to use a classroom within our facility. I believe the total cost is it's $25 a day, but it's the total with the number is about $1,200, I believe the request is.
That's correct.
To add anything to that?
This
Mr.
is
Brown?
this is not a new agreement. This is something we've been doing before. Okay, so I've seen these folks up there. Where do they practice?
I believe it's at the high school.
It's in the band room.
The band.
Okay, it's at the band room of the high
Yes.
school. Okay, because I've seen them go in and out. I just didn't know. Okay.
They used our facility under the same terms and agreement prior to COVID, and when COVID hit and we shut down use of our facilities, they've been waiting for the opportunity to get back in. So this is one of the first.
And I assume that outside of when they're playing, they'll be adhering to our medical.
It's part of the
protocols.
the guidelines.
All right,
They have to-
excellent. Thank you.
I also have a quick question. Are they, like when we have someone that wants to use our facilities, what is the stipulations? Do they have to have their own separate type of insurance policy and all that kind of stuff too? So they're made aware once they want to use the facility,
Yeah,
okay?
yes, ma'am. They're required to have a $1 million general liability policy that names the North Little Rock School District as a certificate holder, and they have to provide that certificate to us before we bring that request to you.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, I first want to
If
thank you.
we
and
don't
Dr.
receive the
Fuller.
certificate,
Sorry.
if they can't provide the insurance, then the request doesn't come forward to the board.
Okay.
Mr. Brown, Dr. Pelosi, thank you. This is the first time we ever had a report on the actual rental of all the facilities in the district and the cost. And that, to me, when board members are asked, all they have to do now is pull the packet, and you have that right here in your presence of every step. So therefore, they can't say it's a bias and there's no equity in it. We're treating everybody the same for the rental of any of our properties.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion is on.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, no. It has been adopted. We're down at 10.6, refinance of 11.1 2016 bond.
Madam President, members of our board, I'll turn it over to Mr. Brown and certainly a special guest that is no stranger to us, and that is Mr. Scott Beardsley, our financial advisor. Welcome back, sir.
Welcome back.
We let this guy back in the building.
Welcome back.
I'll have you know, I wear my mask all over the country, you know, NLR on it. So, board members, Mr. Beardsley's here tonight the first item of business is the refinance of our 2016 bond that has matured and is eligible for refinance. And I believe that minimum time period is 5 years, is that correct? So, the 5-year mark has been made, and he's going to discuss with you an opportunity to save money on a refinance of that last smaller bond that we have left.
Good evening, Board. On the right side of your packet is the debt schedules. If you'll reach back behind it, it looks like this, columns going down it. The district only has 2 bond issues outstanding. One that we refunded earlier in the year, that you're putting the savings aside each year, and then one that was issued originally in November of 16. It is now eligible to be refinanced, and it's currently at an interest rate of 2.98%. We hope to get the new interest rate under 2%, which would hopefully save the district about $1.3 million in the current school year. Behind the debt schedule are 2 different structurings. The first one is the one I'm going to recommend, where the savings are up front, and it is the least efficient or it is less efficient than the other structure that's behind it. But the reason I'm going to recommend it is that you get immediate benefit to the school district. And my assumption is going to be in 5 or 6 years, you're going to go to the voters and ask to extend the millage. And so any savings that occur after this future election, the district would not really experience.
And so you're better off taking the savings up front. If you look at the last page of the handout, if we did level savings, you'd save about $108,000 a year, which over the life of the bonds would produce $1.5 million in savings. But really, you would only get $500,000 if we do something in 5 years. And so that's why I'm going to recommend that we go with the upfront savings.
This bond,
Go ahead.
this bond matures in 43, 44, is that, am I reading that right?
This bond matures in
42.
2036.
36.
And 36.
It's the third column from the right, the one labeled 11-1-16.
Oh, okay, okay.
You can see that the larger bond issue is the next one over, and it's the one that was done in March and is at 1.93% interest. So we're wanting to refinance the higher interest rate bond from 2016. As you guys remember from March, the way that this works, the school is required to take competitive bid. And so you'll advertise in the local paper for 2 weeks, and then in the third week, we'll take bids. We use an online bidding platform out of New York. Nobody can see the bids, including myself, until 11 a.m. When everybody sees the bids, they'll be ranked on lowest true interest cost, and I'll give the superintendent and Brian a phone call, go over the bids with them, and then they can either accept or reject the bid, and I'll tell them how much money the district saves. So it's a fairly low risk opportunity. If interest rates go up, which I think they are, and we don't save, if we save, let's say, less than $1 million, the superintendent may reject it, and you're out the notices in the newspaper is really your cost. All of our fees and the legal fees are based on a successful closing of the bond issue.
Is this a motion you need?
That's the motion on the right side.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to submit an application for a permit to issue bonds with related documents for $20,110,000 in refunding bonds to the State Department of Education, and to employ First Security Beardsley as fiscal agent, and to authorize the superintendent of schools to accept or reject the best bid submitted in connection with the public sale of the proposed bonds in consultation with the fiscal agent.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we accept the lengthy motion. Is there any more discussion?
I guess we can decide which structure we want later.
Now,
Or we have to-
let's make that decision tonight, because we're gonna send it out next week to go into the papers and start advertising to accept the bids in 3 weeks. So I include it because I know you like numbers, and I just wanted to make sure that you could see that the other option is more efficient, but hear the rationale for why, when you see the structure, I would recommend that we have the savings up front.
Okay.
So that'd be a second motion.
No, it just really would be, normally Brian would, and I would discuss that and the board wouldn't hear it. Ms. Temple in the past has been involved in some discussions just with her background in accounting, just asking how things are structured, why do we do things a certain way, and I wanted to make sure she saw that on the front end.
So you just need guidance. You wouldn't necessarily need a motion
No.
from us. Okay.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
All right, I'll
The
just
motion
give
has been adopted.
one reminder, which I'll remind you again in December. The way that the savings works is your regular February of 22 debt payment will just be lower than what Brian has in the budget. That's what we call the savings. You don't get a real check or anything. It's more an accounting. The check you send out is not as high. Those savings are no longer restricted. So it is at board discretion what you do with those one-time monies. You can put them into the bank, you can spend them, but just as a reminder, it's one-time funds because your debt payment is going to go back to where it was as long as the bonds are outstanding. The other item that's in your packets is our contract. You're under contract with us from doing the 21 bond issue. We've sort of been rolling over the old agreement, and the Department of Ed likes a fresh contract. Our fees haven't changed in 10 years. It's the same fee schedule that you're currently paying. Brian and Dr. Poliski have the right to call us at any time with no charge.
We only get paid if we close a bond issue successfully, and the Department of Education reviews the fees at closing. In fact, we can't close the bond issue until the commissioner signs off on it, but it would allow us to continue filing your annual reports for the next 3 years.
That's
It's on the
suggested
website.
motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
The suggested motion,
yeah,
Madam,
okay,
go ahead.
to employ First Security Beardsley as financial advisor for a period of 3 years, effective as of the date of adoption.
Second. It has been properly moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
Just one quick question. I know you said we won't receive a check for that 1.3 million, but if we keep you on for 3 years, do you think you could bring us one of those big checks and us take our
I
picture?
could.
Okay, all right then, that's all I
You
got.
just tell me the size.
Real big, giant.
The biggest.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is adopted.
All right, so Dr. Redis, in your
And
new
thank you.
role, I will hang around after the meeting.
Okay.
And the Department of Ed wants you to sign off on the application.
Already? I gotta sign my
Contract.
life away?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I was walking down the hall when you were electing the new secretary, so who has that other pleasure?
Angela.
Very good.
person
I'll
has.
introduce you to the world of documents.
Okay.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, Mr. Beardsley.
Thank you, Mr. Beardsley.
See you
And just-
December 9th.
May I make one comment?
So that,
I just want to say, you know, I like to save the money on, so the second schedule looks better to me, but whatever they decide, I'm fine.
Yeah, and I always kind of have that discussion with my accounting board members because it is more efficient.
Mhm.
But I have never had a school district leave a bond issue to pay off. So the only way that you could actually be more efficient is to do nothing till 2033. And given the district's history, that is 99% not going to happen.
Okay,
So you're better off with the upfront savings.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
so that moves us down to 10.8, Verizon Easement.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, board members and Dr. Paluski. So if you recall back in late spring, I talked to you about Verizon updating cellular equipment on one of the poles on our property. And you all gave permission for them to do that. And that project was put on hold for a little bit. Now they're back to it, but they've discovered they need an easement to upgrade the fiber that actually runs to the pole. So this is cost all to Verizon. They're willing to accept all those charges. They're just asking for an official easement to be able to upgrade the fiber that goes to that pole. And I've included a diagram of the property for you.
I guess in the spirit of Ms. Wancom, no children will be present, right?
No children, I've had that conversation. They will work after school hours, on the weekend, or on breaks.
All right. Good deal.
No, it's just, you just need to approve, us to approve the agreement,
The
basically, right?
easement agreement, yes.
All right, Madam President, I move that we approve the easement document 4811-7800-5502 V1, version 1, easement and right-of-way agreement.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we approve the Verizon easement. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion is adopted. 10.9, security camera server district-wide upgrade.
Joining Mr. Brown is Mr. Hatch to give an overview of some security upgrades.
Madam President, congratulations.
Thank you.
Board members, Dr. Paluski, what you have in your board package is a proposal by Genesis Datacom to upgrade the camera servers throughout the district. The servers have currently been online since about 2015, 2016, and it doesn't seem like a real old piece of equipment, but these servers operate 24/7. And we've had to replace numerous hard drives over the years with these servers. And also these servers are an older model and are no longer supported by Microsoft. So we're asking you to approve replacing all the servers for our camera systems throughout the district. And another added bonus with these servers, we currently only have 30 days that we can
record footage, excuse me, on the current servers. These will upgrade us to 60 days. And this is kind of important. We just had a situation where we really came close to losing the footage on an incident that happened because we only had 30 days. We were on the last 2 days to recover that footage. So this would just be a great addition to the security systems in the district. I'd like to point out that there are 17 servers that will be upgraded district-wide, and that this request will be paid for out of the building fund with your approval.
Is there a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we accept the security camera server district-wide upgrade.
Second.
For the amount of $212,646, so it's coming from the building fund.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
Any discussion?
One question. So the difference in server size, is that due to difference in the number of cameras?
It will also provide for room to upgrade cameras. We are upgrading a lot of cameras as we speak, and a lot of those cameras are higher definition.
Right.
So these will definitely support that, and additional cameras at each site.
But you follow, okay.
Yes.
So the difference
Yes.
between the sites, the different locations have different size, like 40 terabytes
Oh,
versus
yes, sir.
48?
Yes, sir.
That's just a difference in the number of cameras?
Yes, sir.
And the high school isn't on the list because?
No, It the- is. the It's high school, separated it's down at the bottom. separated, a line item.
Oh, it sure is. It's way down there. Okay,
For
thank you.
120 terabyte.
Okay, oh, excellent. All right, no more questions.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Those opposed, no. It has been adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Hatch.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. 10.10, disposal of non-working district vehicles.
Mr. Brown.
All right, so we have some used buses that are non-working, that have been used for parts. And Dr. Tyler has indicated he has used them as efficiently as he could. So he's ready to dispose of those. I believe there's I think there's 6 buses, and then Mr. Hatch has 2 maintenance vehicles that are non-working, that are ready to be scrapped for metal. So once you approve this, if you approve the disposal of the property, what we'll do is we'll take the highest bid on scrap metal, and we've already received the bids on those, so we'll take the highest bidder, and then we'll have to have those items towed, but we'll dispose of them in that way.
Entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move we accept the disposal of the non-working district vehicles, the 6 buses and the 2 maintenance vehicles, as presented by Mr. Brown.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this because they're worth over $1,000, we have to approve them being taken out of inventory?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for that question. So our state law and district policy requires if you dispose of any property valued at $1,000 or more, you have to seek board approval for that, and the scrap metal costs on these will exceed $1,000.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is adopted. We're down to 10.11, the COVID additional pay.
Thank you, Madam President, members of our board, and I'll have Mr. Smith join Mr. Brown for just kind of an update. I know that we've discussed this before and talked about it. I don't know, Mr. Smith, if you have an update for the board.
Thank you, Dr. Paluski, Madam President, members of the board. Thank you for having me this evening. The only update I have that would have been a change from what was presented at the board workshop is this has made it through the CPPC and LPPC as presented and has been approved. And so if there are no further questions, we'd ask that the board would approve this as presented at the last board workshop.
Okay. Madam Chair?
Yes.
I so move that we accept the COVID 21-20 COVID-19 additional pay that's funded on page 214 for the 21-22 school year.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we accept the 2021-2022 COVID-19 additional pay. Any discussion? If there's no discussions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion has been adopted.
Thank
you. Down to 10.12, updates to board policies.
Madam President, we bring forth, notice a discussion item that Mr. Stone is 4.44, the addition or the policy of the national anthem, and 4.46, the Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence.
Madam President, board members, Dr. Paluski, tonight I'm bringing back the policy that was discussed in the board workshop. If there's no question, we're asking for a favorable vote so that we may update our policies.
Question,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wade, can you vote first, second?
Well, I can make a motion. You want me to make a motion? Okay. I move we accept the update to the board policies, 4.44 on the national anthem and 4.46 Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we accept the updates to the board policies, section 4 students. Any discussion?
Discussion. Did you do a survey for this policy? I thought Dr. Paluski said he felt it was important that you sent a survey out for this particular 1013 and 1014 A and B. Am I incorrect?
I think, Ms. Wynn, what we talked about, and I think that was something I was learning, is there a period where we put it out to the public for a public comment? I know that we're not required to do that by law, but I think that's maybe something we'd like to shoot towards. I don't think that we received any public comment.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
But I would like to suggest we move towards that in between, so the public has a chance if they, we need to make a change, or we need to make some kind of edit, that we just want to make sure we got public comment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Great. So we're down to future meetings and events. Before that, I learned at an early age that nobody has to do anything for you. So I want to say thank you to the board for entrusting me to be your president. I'm going to do my best, but just know that I am not human. I am human.
Wow,
So
really?
Not
human.
I knew it.
I'm human, and just because I have a degree, I just did make mistakes. And there is enough past presidents that's on the board that will help to guide me, and I take suggestions, and I'm a work in progress. So,
Congratulations.
Well, Dr. Redis, I just want to say we're all human. We all are here to help each other. And we will, help support each other, and we're here to work together, and we will help prop the next person up when needed.
Moving forward. Well said.
moving forward.
Well said.
Special board meeting and board workshop is going to be Thursday, December 2nd, and then our next regular board meeting is going to be Thursday, December 16th. I will entertain the next motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
So moved.
Second motion. Thank you, Dr.
No, he was done this before.